Welcome to the deep dive.
Hmm.
So today we're tackling something pretty radical, I think.
Hmm.
It's this idea, maybe a bit counterintuitive, that flips relationship advice on its head.
Yeah.
Like, what if the absolute best skill for being in a healthy relationship is, well, being okay without one? Truly okay.
Yeah, it definitely seems backwards at first, doesn't it? We're always told, focus outwards, communicate better, invest more in your partner.
Right.
But this deep dive suggests maybe that's not the core issue. The mission here is to explore how finding peace with being alone might actually be the only solid ground for building connection.
It feels like a tough sell, though, because it means facing up to some potentially bleak stuff about loneliness.
It does.
But the idea is the payoff is huge, that only people who've genuinely made peace with maybe being single long-term have the calm, the steadiness.
The courage.
Yeah, the courage to handle the rough patches in love, that internal anchor. It changes everything.
And that anchor leads straight into this concept of the unfaked ultimatum. That sounds pretty intense.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down. We all know boundaries are needed sometimes, right? A partner crosses the line, you have to say something. But why do those conversations, those ultimatums, often just fizzle out?
Well, the thinking here is that for any demand, any boundary to really land, it has to come from a place of quiet, genuine confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
Confidence that you will be absolutely all right, maybe even, better off if they ignore you and you have to walk away.
And that's where not being okay with being single becomes this huge problem.
Exactly. It's like partners have this sixth sense about it. They don't need you to spell it out. They can somehow feel how far they can push. They can almost smell that fear of being left alone.
Wow.
And if your fear of being alone is stronger than your fear of being treated badly, well, that fear becomes their leverage.
So you've basically handed over all your power without saying a word. That dread means you can be, like the source says, toyed with without end.
Pretty much. They know deep down you'll probably choose the relationship pain over the scary unknown of being alone.
So it can't just be a bluff. It can't be yelling in the moment.
No, exactly. It has to be real, an internal policy almost, backed up by knowing you can manage on your own. If they sense even a hint of bluffing, they'll likely call it. Every time.
Okay, so what actually shifts in their head when they realize, oh, wait, they're actually prepared to leave? This isn't a drill.
Well, it moves from just, managing your unhappiness to facing a real potential consequence. Before, maybe they thought, okay, they're upset, but they're not going anywhere. But when they realize you could go, that you've prepared for it, the whole calculation changes. Suddenly, their behavior has a tangible cost. The relationship survival isn't just down to your desperation anymore. It depends on their willingness to actually show up properly.
It makes me think of that analogy in the material, the military drill one. Practicing leaving.
Yes, that's a great one. You practice the skills to get out, not because you're eager for an attack or you want to leave,
Right.
but precisely to lower the odds it'll ever come to that. Your readiness to exit, ironically, creates the stability.
So the wise move is to always have that metaphorical getaway bag packed, even when things feel super cozy. It's not cynical, it's self-respect, really, self-preservation. That quiet readiness stops you from ever needing the bag.
That's the paradox, isn't it? The more comfortable you are with the idea of being alone, the better your odds of building a relationship where you won't have to be.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about before you're even in a relationship? The whole dating game, the searching part?
Right, the rigmarole.
Yeah. Does being okay with singlehood help there too? Is it like a filter?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe even more critical there. If you go into dating already terrified of being alone, you're starting way behind.
How so?
Because you're not really looking for the right connection then. You're just looking for a connection, anyone to fill the void. And that desperation, that lack of clarity, it makes you accept things you shouldn't.
What does that look like in practice? This idea of persuading ourselves of the rightness of the wrong people.
It looks like downplaying huge red flags. Obvious incompatibilities you just sort of brush aside. Or you blow up tiny moments of connection into these grand signs that this is the one. You end up settling for someone who doesn't truly excite you or interest you that much. You try to force something that isn't there.
And why? Just to avoid the immediate discomfort.
Largely, yes. Because the pain of going home alone tonight feels much more real, more urgent than the potential long-term pain of being stuck with the wrong person years down the line.
And is there one specific fear driving this? Something deeper?
The material points very strongly to the fear of dying alone.
Wow.
It's not just, oh, I'd like some company. It's that deep existential dread, facing the end without someone there, that specific, quite visceral fear. That's what fuels the rush. And it can really mess things up, pushing us towards partners who are just not good enough for us, simply to avoid that image.
So if you can face that fear, the fear of singlehood, tend to be the desperate need to settle.
Exactly. You stop choosing partners based on their ability to shield you from your biggest fear, and you start choosing them based on, well, their actual merits, on genuine connection.
It makes so much sense
Hmm.
because that desperation itself probably isn't very attractive either.
No, it's often the opposite. It can make you seem needy, not self-possessed, so it actually pushes away the kind of healthy, secure people you'd ideally want to attract. It's completely self-defeating.
Okay, this feels like the point where we need to confront that cultural message we always hear.
Mm-hmm.
The one that insists being single is supposed to be this amazing, fun, fulfilling adventure, like we should be loving every minute of our freedom.
Right, the sort of compulsory positivity about it.
Yeah, but our deep dive is saying maybe we need to drop that, except that it can be, well, bleak.
Well, yeah, the argument is that clinging to that illusion, the idea that singlehood must be fun, actually makes things worse. Because then you're not just alone, which is hard enough. You also feel ashamed that you're not finding it amazing. You feel like you've failed some kind of test because you're not constantly, posting Instagram photos of your empowering solo brunch.
Okay, but if we just accept, oh, this is horrible, isn't there a danger we just give up? Becomes bitter.
That's the tricky balance, isn't it? It's not about wallowing. It's about accepting the truth so we can endure it without the extra layer of shame. The unflinching truth might be, as the material puts it, that being single is often horrible. Of course it is. Boring, frightening, dispiriting, and alienating. We have to stop pretending otherwise.
Can we paint that picture a bit more? The anti-fantasy. What's the real day-to-day reality, not the glossy magazine version?
The sources are quite blunt, like having the whole bed to ourselves. Objectively, that's just empty space where a person could be. It's not inherently liberating. Being able to play music loudly at 3 a.m., is that really better than having someone to whisper with? Probably not for most people. The reality is often the quiet grind, managing everything alone. Every bill, every leaky faucet, every plan for the weekend. The lack of easy, spontaneous comfort. And dating itself. It can be incredibly draining, a fast route to mental exhaustion.
It's not one big dramatic tragedy, it's the little things adding up.
Exactly. The quiet weight of knowing, again, if you don't sort it, it doesn't get sorted. If you don't make plans, you'll be alone.
Yeah.
That's not an adventure, usually. It's just a lot of work, emotionally and logistically.
So what's the payoff then? Why embrace this bleak view?
Because once you accept that singlehood often is difficult, maybe boring, maybe alienating, it loses its power to constantly surprise or humiliate you. The shame disappears.
Oh.
You stop fighting the feeling, judging yourself for it, and you just deal with the reality. It shifts from being this personal crisis, why me, why is this so awful, to just an accepted state, like, okay, this is the situation right now. It's tough, but it's temporary or at least manageable.
That acceptance gives you back control in a weird way. Which brings us to the final comparison, maybe the most important one. Solitude versus the alternative. For all its downsides, what is being single always better than?
It is always, always better than being in a bad relationship with an immature, shape-shifting, unself-aware borderline person or any truly bad, damaging relationship. We really need to picture the two kinds of suffering side by side. They are not the same weight.
Okay, let's make that really vivid. Solitary suffering versus relational suffering.
Okay, picture the solitary pain. You're alone. Maybe you're crying on the sofa again, feeling really down about your situation, frustrated, lonely. It's real pain, absolutely. But it's clean pain in a way.
Clean pain. Yeah.
It's pain about loss, maybe, or absence, but it's directed inwards or maybe just outwards at fate. Eventually you process it. It can even make you stronger. Clarify what you want.
Okay, now contrast that with the pain inside a bad relationship.
That's the dirty, corrosive stuff. That's the endless, soul-destroying cycle of trying to get someone who is fundamentally unwilling or unable, maybe they're deceitful, maybe just deeply checked out, to finally step up and love you right. It's that exhausting effort of trying to change someone who won't change, running on fumes and false hope. That kind of pain doesn't cleanse you, it drains you. It eats away at your self-worth day after day after day.
So being alone, even when miserable, preserves something, while the bad relationship just consumes.
Exactly. Solitude fundamentally wins because it doesn't steal your future. Even when it feels awful, it still contains the possibility of something better. Your energy, your standards, they're still basically intact, ready for when the right thing comes along.
Whereas the bad relationship.
It locks you into a toxic present, and it burns up the very resources, your time, your emotional energy, your self-belief that you would need to build that better future.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this all together then.
Yeah.
The big paradox seems to be,
Mm-hmm.
we should probably admit that being single can really suck. We shouldn't pretend it's always easy or fun.
Right.
But facing that difficulty soberly, steadily, with that metaphorical getaway bag always ready, that's actually the best guarantee of finding the love we really deserve. That quiet strength is the real armor.
Beautifully put. And maybe that leaves us with one last thing for you, the listener, to think about. If the kind of love that truly lasts requires you to be fundamentally ready to walk away, how are you treating your time alone right now? Is it genuine preparation? Is it that military drill we talked about, honing your independence? Or is it just waiting? Just an uncomfortable pause you're desperate to end? Your answer might shape not just how long you wait, but the quality of whatever connection comes next.